Fundamental rights we all rely upon could disappear. Why does it matter to you whether President Trump's nominee to the Supreme Court, Judge Amy Coney Barrett, gets confirmed? I'm Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, and I'm here to break it all down for you. There's more than 120 Supreme Court cases that were decided by just one vote, by 5-4, with Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the majority and Justice Amy Scalia in the dissent. That's more than 120 cases that could impact your life, your family, the fundamental rights upon which you rely. All of those are at risk of being overturned if Judge Barrett is confirmed to the court. So this week, I'm going to question her on two deeply concerning parts of her record. First is the judicial philosophy she shares with her mentor, the late Justice Scalia. It's called Originalism, and it's rooted in the idea that the authoritative meaning of the Constitution is what it meant when it was ratified more than 240 years ago. Second is her belief, even more radical than Justice Scalia's view, that Supreme Court justices should reach back and overturn precedent with which they disagree. Let me explain why I'm choosing to focus on these two ideas. Justice Ginsburg was a deciding vote on a whole series of cases that upheld the constitutionality of the Affordable Care Act, cases that recognized the right to same-sex marriage, cases that allowed universities to incorporate racial diversity into admissions decisions, a case that held it unconstitutional to impose mandatory life without parole for juveniles, and a case that held schools responsible for sexual harassment by students, which they're deliberately indifferent to. Justice Scalia also disagreed with many other cases decided before he served on the Supreme Court. These cases could also be at risk. Way back in the 1960s, in Griswold versus Connecticut, the court held married couples have the right to use contraceptives in the privacy of their own home. Justice Scalia said in 2012 that decision was wrong because under his originalist philosophy, there's no such thing as a general right to privacy in the Constitution. And Judge Barrett shares that same approach to the Constitution.
His judicial philosophy is mine too.
Over the last 5 decades, the Supreme Court has built upon Griswold in a number of ways that protect the right of families and all Americans to personal and family autonomy and dignity. This includes Roe versus Wade, which guarantees crucial reproductive rights to women, and Obergefell versus Hodges, which recognized the right to marriage equality. Justice Scalia repeatedly and publicly disagreed with this whole line of cases, but he also recognized that once a case has been law long enough, something called reliance interests becomes more important, as people in our country come to rely on it as a settled right. Now, Judge Barrett, in several law review articles about this exact area of the law, has made it clear she's even more willing than former Justice Scalia to reopen cases where she thinks they're wrongly decided, even if they were decided decades ago. So given Judge Barrett's willingness to reach back, reconsider, and even overturn long-settled precedent with which she disagrees, all these cases could be at risk of being overturned. These aren't minor cases. They're important rulings that guarantee protections in areas like healthcare, the environment, labor rights, civil rights, gun safety, Native American rights, consumer rights, criminal justice, and so much more. This is what's really at stake with this nomination. Fundamental rights we all rely upon could disappear, and the America we know could look profoundly different. You deserve to know how Judge Barrett's decisions, if she's confirmed to the Supreme Court, will impact you. So I encourage you to stay informed throughout this process and speak up and make your voices heard.